My full name is Daniel Agdag, and I guess my occupation is artist. To narrow it down, I'm a cardboard artist. I feature in a few mags, mainly in the US. The inspector is a machine that inspects the rails that it travels on. That's effectively what this machine does, but it's self-sufficient. It has its own power system, it has its own instruments, and it does its own recording. So it's all encapsulated in that one machine, and that's what it does. So when I started that piece out of cardboard, it was literally that. I knew what the machine was, and then every element that formed thereafter was just imposed by, you know, the dimensions, the proportions, all that sort of stuff, and proportions are very important to me. So that's how that process happened. But then translating that to the real world in steel is actually the opposite of that. So what I do is I look at that what I've created, and then I disassemble it. I take it apart, each individual component. I strip down that component into all of its relative parts, the structure that it sits on, and so on and so forth. And then from that, I had to then redesign it and in many ways completely rebuild the inspector for the real world. And the way that I did that is I drew every single part, how every single part connects to every other part and how it all goes together. And then the process for me with the steel I got everything laser cut. A lot of people were saying, oh, you're just going to find standard objects or you're going to craft every piece. And I thought, yeah, you could do that, and that is the conventional way most people do things. But for me, that doesn't make sense, because for me, I'm building the inspector out of steel like I would build it out of cardboard, but on a larger scale. And that means from flat pieces, I form three-dimensional objects, which is effectively what I do in cardboard. It's going well, would you say, Scott?
It's going together like Meccano.
The process is very similar to building an airplane. We get a whole bunch of suppliers from all around the world, in this case all around the southeastern suburbs, we send them drawings, plans and illustrations and CAD drawings of everything that I did. And then we send it to all these suppliers, two main suppliers, people who roll the steel, people who cut the steel, and then they do what they do. And that gets delivered, and this is Everett. This is the assembly plan where we put it all together. So it's like building a plane. Of course, it doesn't have to fly, which is good, because I don't want to be responsible for that. Everybody I've dealt with at Hampton, you know, he's always said to me, don't compromise, take as long as you want to do this, just do a good job, do a good job. And that's a really great thing to hear from someone, rather than when's it ready, what you know, this, that and the other, like compromise this, compromise that. Like, that's a very rare thing to have someone actually come up to you and say, you know what, whatever you need, how long it takes, just do it. And that's been my experience, and it's been a good experience. I like putting all of my energy, all my mental energy, all my physical energy into the work, and I like the work to speak for itself. If the project was just right and all the parameters of that project were just right, then I would definitely do it again, yeah, without a doubt. And I think I'd get the same people involved again as well, because I've had a really good run with everyone, so yeah.